Montana as a political battleground, but come November, the balance of power could run right through this beautiful landscape.
Republicans are looking to these mountains and these two men to take back the Senate.
But the balance of power in Congress is also obviously at stake.
One is campaigning all across the country.
Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin.
The other waging the fight of his life right here at home.
We're doing it for the kids.
This is do or die for Republicans this year.
Join me for exclusive interviews and some good old-fashioned Montana fun.
Of course.
With Senate candidate Tim Sheehy and Donald Trump's secret Senate weapon, Steve Daines.
This is a fight for the future of America.
After the 2020 election, the U.S. Senate was split down the middle. For 2 years, the deciding vote was Vice President Kamala Harris.
In the Senate, it's a 50-50 with Kamala Harris as the tiebreaker.
On this vote, the yeas are 50 and the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the motion is agreed to.
She cast more tie-breaking votes than any other vice president in history. She even beat Vice President John Calhoun. And trust me, that's saying something.
We got into this crisis because Kamala Harris cast the deciding vote on the American Rescue Plan, which was a $1.9 trillion social spending plan that unleashed the worst inflation in 40 years.
Republicans pin their hopes on the midterms.
If you want to stop the destruction of our country and save the American dream, then this Tuesday you must vote Republican in a giant red wave.
Your prediction, how big is the midterm election, Scott Brown?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a red wave.
Haley?
Republicans take the Senate.
The actual result was a crushing disappointment.
Democrats barely squeaked out a win in Nevada to keep control of the Senate.
The red wave that never came in 2022. I don't want to see that happen again in 24.
Now the Republicans are going back to the drawing board. This year, there are 34 Senate seats up for grabs. Most are considered safe for the incumbent. The ones that are hotly contested are all currently held by Democrats. The Republican in charge of winning back the Senate is Steve Daines. He's all Montana.
Got it.
And this election season, he's all business.
Nobody was happy with the outcome in 2022. So we took a look at the results and said, hey, we've got to change some things. Number one, we've got to find candidates that can win not just primary elections, but general elections, have a broader appeal.
On Election Day 2024, Daines has just one mission.
Well, we'll get to 51.
You're making that statement.
That is the goal. We want a majority. If the Democrats control the United States Senate, the legislative filibuster is gone. This is about fundamentally restructuring power in America so that Republicans never have the power again in Washington, D.C. That's a dangerous moment.
So much pressure, right, on you trying to flip the Senate for Republicans after the year you had in 2022. Why take this job?
We're grandparents now of 6. What future were our grandkids going to have in this country?
Daines has deep roots in the Big Sky State.
I'm so thankful. I had no idea as a kid growing up here how special it was. You know, when you grow up, I had a fly rod in my hand early on with my Grandpa Daines from Billings. Grandpa had a rifle in my hand. This is my dad, who was in the Marine Corps. That's the way you grow up in Montana.
Steve and Cindy Daines raised 4 kids of their own on this sprawling Montana homestead. But politics was not part of the plan.
I'm not surprised at his success. I'm not surprised by that at all, but it was not on our radar at all. I did not ever in a million years think that we would be doing this.
No, I didn't either. I spent 28 years in the private sector. Half of that time with Procter & Gamble, the other half as part of a startup software business that we took public and created 1,000 jobs. And I think we need more men and women who go to Washington who didn't grow up in the political spectrum. They were in the private sector. They understand what it means to create a job.
Getting political outsiders from the business world was always a winning strategy for Republicans, especially in 2016.
I love this country.
I met with President Trump early on. I told him the most important thing we can give you, Mr. President, when you win in 24 is a Republican Senate, because we control who the next Secretary of Treasury, Secretary of Defense, Director of the CIA, Secretary of State, Supreme Court justices. Your cabinet will be dependent on our ability to move them through the nomination process. That's what's up for grabs right now in 24.
The Daines-Trump strategy to win back the Senate began in West Virginia.
Early on, we said, this is the guy, Mr. President, is Jim Justice. Very popular governor. He's up 20 points against Joe Manchin. If we get Jim Justice in the race, you endorse Jim Justice, Joe Manchin likely retires. That's exactly what happened.
I've made one of the toughest decisions of my life and decided that I will not be running for re-election to the United States Senate.
It's almost like Manchin stepping aside transferred the uphill fight.
With Senator Joe Manchin out of the race, Governor Jim Justice is now heavily favored to win that seat.
Oh, we've got the greatest people in the world in West Virginia.
The Democrats aren't spending any money in West Virginia, so that's seat number 50. We need one more out of the remaining 8 key battlegrounds.
In addition to West Virginia, Daines is hoping to flip at least one of these states: Pennsylvania, Montana, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, and Nevada.
The Democrats would have to pitch a perfect game across, 8 to 9 key battleground states, which is possible. But we have strong candidates running good races.
With everything on the line, Steve Daines hit the road.
I'm on the campaign trail with these candidates. I've been on the buses. I'm seeing a lot of passion for change in this country.
You're gonna love Kamala Harris. She wants to ban fracking. Let me tell you something. President Trump and Tim Sheehy, they're gonna drill, baby, drill.
I think the American people, they want to talk about inflation. They want to talk about why is the most expensive vehicle I drive my grocery cart.
Many Americans are still feeling the pain of high gas prices, high prices all across the board.
Home prices up 35%. Mortgage rates up 148%. Gasoline prices up 46%. And food prices up 21%. According to a payroll.org survey, 78% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck just last year.
The inflation has been rocky, so everything's gone up.
I still have a lot of concerns about the inflation. The groceries are outrageous. Gas is outrageous.
Another key issue playing out in every state is immigration. Today, every state is a border state, and control of the Senate could decide the future of the border crisis.
Nearly 9,000 illegal migrants from 73 different countries crossed the San Diego border in just 1 week. Migrant encounters have already exceeded 1 million for this fiscal year.
Illegal immigration is a nationwide problem.
Since Joe Biden has taken office, we've seen 10 million people cross the southern border illegally. That's 10 illegal immigrants for every citizen of the state of Montana.
Is the border an issue for Montanans?
Very much so, yeah. We're a northern border state that has a southern border crisis. The fentanyl that's coming across the southern border is getting to Montana within 48 hours after it crosses the Rio Grande.
One good shot for Daines to score a crucial victory is in Nevada. Here, Daines chose Sam Brown to unseat the incumbent, Senator Jackie Rosen.
I served you as a soldier, and I want to serve you again.
Sam Brown is a West Point graduate, was burned by an IED in Afghanistan, severely wounded. His wife, Amy Brown, is a captain in the Army. She was in the burn unit when he was fighting for his life, fell in love. It's a great story. Captain Sam Brown, Captain Amy Brown. The president loves the story. He loves Sam, he loves Amy.
As a U.S. Senator, I will proudly stand alongside Donald Trump to make America affordable, safe, and strong again.
in Ohio could really go either way. Daines is betting big on businessman Bernie Moreno.
We love Ohio and we love Bernie Moreno.
They always think outsiders are easier to beat because they come from a culture where the only thing that you should do is be a politician your whole life.
Moreno fits Daines' strategy of political outsiders. He made his fortune in auto sales before pivoting into blockchain technology.
That's why this Tuesday you need to elect America First champion Bernie Moreno to the U.S. Senate.
Despite strong support from Trump and fellow Ohioan J.D. Vance, Moreno faces a tough fight against longtime incumbent Senator Sherrod Brown.
He's been running for public office since Richard Nixon was president.
President Trump is going to win Ohio by probably 8 to 10 points. So that creates, a lot of headwind for any incumbents. But these are also very tough incumbents to beat. Incumbency is a very powerful position to have.
I wanted to ask about Vice President Kamala Harris changing her positions on things like fracking. Do you think that Harris is pretending to be someone that she is not?
I do not.
Another Democratic incumbent up for re-election is in Steve Daines' own backyard.
I like the odds right here in Montana.
Really?
I mean, this is going to be one of the key races.
Here, Daines hopes to unseat another incumbent with another D.C. outsider, Tim Sheehy.
He was picked by Steve Daines and a group of people. We were looking for perfection because we didn't want any excuses.
Like Sam Brown in Nevada, Sheehy is a military hero. In fact, he's a decorated Navy SEAL. And like Bernie Moreno in Ohio, Sheehy proved himself in the private sector. He founded this aerial firefighting company, Bridger Aerospace.
These super scoopers are on a mission.
This is a great business. We started it here in our barn from scratch. My wife and I, also a combat veteran. All veteran founding team, 2 people in a barn, almost 10 years ago, have created over 400 jobs around the world, 200 here in Montana.
And like Steve Daines, Sheehy did not plan to get into politics. Well, that all changed on August 30th, 2021.
Biden's disastrous exit from Afghanistan was on display for the world to see. We took orders from the Taliban, handed over our military equipment, and lost 13 American lives.
President Biden is offering his condolences to the families who lost loved ones in yesterday's suicide attack in Kabul. And amid a slew of criticism over the withdrawal strategy, the president remains committed to that mission and that deadline.
That's why I got into this race, was Afghanistan. How Biden pulled us out of Afghanistan was a disgrace to me and my wife and all of us who served there.
Like all his fellow Republican challengers, Sheehy is fighting an uphill battle against a well-funded incumbent. That's Senator John Tester. He's been in office since 2006.
That's not a knock, that's a plus.
What would you tell voters on the ground that are used to this guy now? They've been seeing him for years now. He's kind of like he's
a fixture.
Exactly. He's a part of Montana. Yeah. What has he done so wrong that he needs to go?
He's a party line voter. 100% Planned Parenthood, D from the NRA, 95% lockstep voting record with Joe Biden.
Sheehy says he knows what Montanans really want.
They want secure borders, cheap gas, safe streets, boys are boys, girls are girls. Pretty simple stuff. They want independence from government. That has been probably one of our single most political characterizations for the last 150 years in this state, is keep the government out of my business.
But Sheehy is not originally from Montana. That's why his opponent is trying to label him as an outsider.
Democrats call you a rhinestone cowboy, which I don't even know what that is. I don't think I've ever seen one. But a rhinestone cowboy, okay, from out of town, from out of the state.
They want to call me out of state. They should look at the rivers of out-of-state dark money that flow into Montana every 6 years to keep John Tester in office.
The truth is, if we let people know that you've got a true Montanan who's lived here for literally generations.
His version of campaigning is hop on his tractor at his fake dirt farm, get some photos of him driving in a circle, and then fly back to D.C. to his townhouse, and he's going to wait and watch as the Democrats pour hundreds of millions of dollars in here and run this campaign for him. And at the end of the day, every Montanan came here at some point.
A wild card this year are new Montanans who moved here during COVID from states like Washington, Oregon, and California. And truly, no one knows how they'll vote.
And we call them the cows, California, Oregon, Washington, even Colorado, who are fleeing the heavy hand of blue government. They don't want higher taxes. They don't want to see these woke policies in their schools. They want their Second Amendment rights protected. Guess what? They're coming to Montana.
Do you think that helps your Senate candidates' chances here in November?
We've seen these newly minted Montana voters, 2-to-1, who've come in from California, have been registered Republicans versus Democrats.
For Tim Sheehy, the next few weeks will be an all-out offensive.
We are doing the most pure grassroots campaign possible. I mean, the last 72 hours, I think I've been in, 8 or 10 Montana towns all over the state. And as soon as we're done, literally, I'm going to hop in a pickup truck and we're going to a Disabled American Veterans Convention in Butte. Because I am a disabled veteran, combat wounded. John Tester is not.
For Sam Brown, Bernie Moreno, and all the other Republican challengers, the support of Steve Daines is critical.
Turnout is going to be the most important thing that's going to happen in this election to allow us to win. I think we're going to see a night in November of 24. It's going to be 5,000 to 10,000 votes, one way or the other, that will decide the majority control of the United States Senate. I think this really defines the trajectory of America for the next generation.
Your Republican United States Senate candidate, Navy SEAL veteran Tim Sheehy. Please welcome him and his family.
We're doing it for the kids because we cannot hand our children a bankrupt nation. We cannot hand them a nation that no longer loves itself. We cannot hand them a nation with a wide open border on the precipice of World War III.
You gotta leave here ready to do something. Vote early, vote absentee.
We're going to flip the United States Senate.
We've got 97 days to victory. Nevada, I'm with you. Let's win.
We have to hand them a strong America. We have to hand them America they can have hope in. We have to hand them America that they can be proud of. And that's why we're doing this.
Control of the U.S. Senate is on the ballot. The difference of a single county in a single state could change everything.
We start with a common objective, as we both want to win. Winners make policy, losers go home. You gotta win.
So what's Cindy's prediction for November? You taking back the Senate?
We are taking back the Senate. This guy's in
So she's willing to go over
We're taking back the Senate.
I'm a little conservative in my forecast. So.
You know, whether you live on a sprawling farm or in a concrete jungle, your issues and your vote matters. I'm Aisha Hasni in Montana, and I'll see you on Election Day.